Hello dear students, welcome back in this video lecture. Dear friends, today we are going to start a new topic for you and the title is Bioinorganic Chemistry. As the title is indicating that this is bioinorganic chemistry, means it is a fusion of two subjects, that is two topics, mainly two disciplines, okay, and these are biology and inorganic chemistry. Mainly we know that when we deal with biochemistry, so that biochemistry is nothing but interactions or the interdisciplinary branch of biology and chemistry. In a similar way, in detail, the fusion of biology and the inorganic chemistry mainly that deals with the bioinorganic chemistry. So we know that inorganic chemistry is mainly deals with the study of elements, okay, found in the nature, and hence what are the different roles, what are the different functions of metal ions, non-metal ions, different elements in the biology, that is in the life processes such as respiration, then circulation, okay, then structural features are there. So what are the different functions and roles of these different metal ions that we have to study in the bioinorganic chemistry. So that's why it is the branch of chemistry, or we can say it is the branch of inorganic chemistry, which is related to the role and functions and study of different elements, especially different metal ions in the life processes, different life processes. Okay, so that's why this bioinorganic chemistry is an emerging branch of inorganic chemistry, which is totally related to the study of the interactions of the different elements and their metal ions with the different physiological as well as biological processes related to life, means to living organisms such as human beings, animals, plants, insects, etc. Okay, so all these activities of different organisms, okay, different life processes, how they are regulated, how they are controlled by the metal ions. Okay, for example, different proteins are there which contains some metal ions, specific metal ions. Okay, other than that, that metal ions are not present in that specific metalloenzymes or metalloproteins. Okay, so that's why this is the unique what we can say uniqueness of the life processes that are selecting only a particular metal ion or metal atom in that life processes. Okay, so that's why this bioinorganic chemistry is now a well-known and emerging branch of chemistry. Okay, now as inorganic chemistry, we know that it is related mainly with the study of elements. So what are the different elements? First of all, we will see what are their roles and how they are playing different functions in the different life processes that we are going to see here. So some metal ions and their functions or roles in the different life processes have been listed here, okay, for your information. For example, the sodium and potassium ions or sodium and potassium atoms, what are the roles of these alkali metals, alkaline earth metals? Okay, so sodium and potassium, these are S block elements. Mainly they are we know that they are metals and their function is as a charge carrier and osmotic balance. So osmotic balance is very important in our life processes. So the balancing of sodium and potassium ions in the body or in the body fluids is very important, and that is controlled by the sodium and potassium ions or sodium potassium atoms. Okay, then the second one is magnesium. So this magnesium is having a role in structure. Structure means it is related to structural transformation of one character from one generation to another generation. Okay, so this is known as, this is related to structure. Then it is also involved in the enzymes such as hydrolase. Okay, then the next element is calcium. It also plays a role in structural transformation, as well as it is acting as a trigger in different physiological processes. Trigger means to start that process or to begin that process, that calcium ion concentration is must. Okay, then the next one is vanadium. So vanadium and molybdenum, both these metal ions or metal atoms are important in one most important physiological process, that is nitrogen fixation in the plant world. Okay, so nitrogen fixation is done mainly by the it is regulated mainly by the vanadium and molybdenum. Along with this, molybdenum is also used for the it is also useful for the enzyme known as oxidase. Okay, so more number of metal ions and metal cations as well as metal different elements are having their roles, particular roles in the their different physiological as well as life processes. Some are listed here for your information. Okay, now the next point is, what are the metal functions in metalloproteins? So metalloproteins are the proteins which contain mainly some metal ions. So what are metalloproteins? Proteins are nothing but, we know that they are made up of amino acids. Okay, and all these amino acids are joined together by a peptide bond or amide bond, and when large number of peptide bonds are present and large number of amino acids are joined together, then that resulting molecule we call it as a polypeptide, that is protein. And when such proteins, they are consisting of metal ions as such as a cofactor, metal ion as a cofactor, then such proteins are known as metalloprotein. Okay, so the different physiological processes are controlled by these metalloproteins. Okay, mainly they are including respiration, that is oxygen transport, then electron transfer, and the third one is structural roles. Okay, so these are the very important and main roles that are controlled by the metalloproteins. Okay, so in your exam the questions on multiple choice questions such may be asked like that, what are the following are the functions or roles of the metalloproteins? Okay, so either of these three options may be given, or all three are given and fourth option may be all of these like this. Okay, or different functions or different roles have been given, and out of that one is from the these three, that is respiration, either oxygen dioxygen transfer, oxygen binding, or electron transfer, or structural role. Okay, so you have to choose in between the correct answer. So such short answer type of questions may be asked in your examination for the, if you are preparing for the MCQ type of examinations. Okay, so this very first role or very first function is the respiration. We know that all living organisms are need to breathe, and that process of intake of oxygen and expelling of all other gases is known as respiration. Okay, and this respiration, what is the main or physiological process is that oxygen transport. We know that oxygen is required for the production of energy in the cells, and that's why for well functioning of each and every cell in the living organisms, oxygen is must, O2 molecule is necessary, and this O2 transfer, dioxygen transport, is done by the metalloproteins. okay, by the metalloproteins in different living organisms. So this dioxygen transport is done by different types of metalloproteins in different types of organisms. For example, in human being or in large animals, okay, this dioxygen transport, that is respiration process, is done by a metalloprotein family which is known as hemoglobin and myoglobin, family. So it is known as, in short, HbMb family. Okay, HbMb family is nothing but hemoglobin myoglobin family, where the oxygen binding site is iron porphyrin complex. Oxygen binding site in hemoglobin myoglobin family metallotype of proteins is iron porphyrin complex. What is this? So you may ask the question like, what is the oxygen binding site? What is the oxygen binding site in hemoglobin or myoglobin metallotype of proteins? So the answer is, it is iron porphyrin ring or iron porphyrin complex. Okay, so the structural changes that will be happen with this hemoglobin family metalloprotein have been described, or it is depicted here. So this is the porphyrin ring complex, okay, in which 4 pyrrole rings, okay, how many? 4 pyrrole rings have been are arranged across this ring, okay. So this is a ring or cyclic compound in which 4 pyrrole ring. So what is pyrrole? We know that, okay, so this is pyrrole, heterocyclic 5-membered ring containing nitrogen atom. This is pyrrole. So how many such 4 rings are attached in this 4 rings are present in this porphyrin ring, okay, and these rings are connected by other substituents, okay, and they form a central core, and the central core is occupied by the iron metal ion Fe2 plus. Okay, so in deoxyhemoglobin molecule, the iron is present at the center of this porphyrin ring, and this system is known as iron porphyrin complex. Okay, and in this iron porphyrin complex, before the binding of oxygen atom, before oxygen of O2 molecule, before binding of O2 molecule, the oxidation state of Fe is +2. Oxidation state of Fe is +2. Okay, on other side there is a presence of imidazole ring. This ring is known as imidazole. Okay, it is again 5-membered ring with 2 nitrogen atoms. This ring is known as imidazole ring. Okay, so the top side is vacant for this Fe2 plus to coordinate with. Okay, when O2 molecule comes in contact with this iron porphyrin complex, okay, some structural changes may take place in this case, okay, and this Fe2 plus is get converted to Fe3 plus. Fe2 plus is get converted to Fe3 plus. So here oxidation number is increased, means oxidation of Fe2 plus takes place. Okay, oxidation of Fe2 plus takes place means what? There is a binding of O2 molecule takes place on the iron. Okay, and there from deoxy, D means there is no oxygen, it is get converted to oxyhemoglobin. In which the iron porphyrin complex is having iron is in +3 oxidation state. Okay, so here it is shown O2 molecule is binded to the central iron atom, iron, okay, Fe3 plus ion. Okay, so this is the that I have to emphasize on you, that some questions may be asked. So how the oxidation state is changing in when O2 molecules get binded to the iron porphyrin complex? So the answer is Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. Okay, then the second metallotype of metalloprotein is hemocyanin. Okay, it is denoted by HC, hemocyanins. So these hemocyanins, they are found in mollusks and arthropods. They are found in mollusks and arthropods, where the oxygen binding sites is 2 copper atoms. Oxygen binding site in these mollusks and arthropods is 2 copper atoms, where the change in oxidation state from copper 1 plus to copper 2 plus takes place. Copper 1 plus to copper 2 plus, this change have been found. Okay, here only one iron atom is present in hemoglobin family, but in hemocyanin there are 2 copper ions are present. Firstly, they are present in plus 1 oxidation state, and they are changing to plus 2 oxidation state after binding with dioxygen molecule. Then the third one is hemerythrin. Hemerythrin is denoted by HR, okay, and they are found in marine animals. They are found in marine animals, where the oxygen binding site is terminal site in Fe unit. Oxygen binding site is terminal site in Fe2 unit. So two iron atoms are there, and these iron atoms are in plus 2 oxidation states. So a big larger metalloprotein is structure is there for this hemerythrin, where the central ring is having Fe2 plus ions. Okay, so 2 Fe2 plus ions are present, and the binding site is at the one terminal, at the one Fe2 plus ion. Okay, and when the oxygen molecule is get binded to this hemerythrin molecule, it is get converted to Fe3 plus. So Fe2 plus 2 plus 2 plus is get converted to 3 plus 3 plus. So iron oxidized to Fe3 plus. Okay, so these are the respiration role of metalloprotein as a respiration, or we can say that oxygen transport, dioxygen transport. Okay, so oxygen transport is very necessary to be continued to the life, and hence it is controlled, it is regulated by the metalloprotein, okay, in which iron in hemoglobin myoglobin family, copper in hemocyanin family, and again iron in hemerythrin family. They are found as they are present in their roles. Then the second most important role of metalloprotein is in the electron transfer reactions. Electron transfer reactions means, we know that in short we call them as a redox reactions, that is oxidation reduction reactions, where only electron transfer takes place, nothing will happen other than that. Okay, such redox reactions are also controlled by the metalloproteins. For example, this one, the example we have already seen in this point, that is deoxyhemoglobin will acting as a Lewis acid. So Lewis acids are electron deficient. Okay, so it is carrying Fe3 plus ion, Fe2 plus ion. Okay, so it is acting as Lewis acid, and O2 molecule having lone pair of electron, it is acting as the electron rich center, so it is acting as a Lewis base. So here very basic chemical reactions that we are learned up to this, that Lewis acid base complex, Lewis acid and combines with Lewis base to form a complex. Okay, so there is a formation of complex. Oxyhemoglobin is a metalloprotein known as complex. Okay, and this is nothing but a Lewis acid Lewis base reaction. Here is also what is happening actually, the electron is transferred, okay, from oxygen molecule to deoxyhemoglobin. Okay, then for electron transfer centers in most of the different animals and organisms, they are found to be mainly two types. Okay, these are iron sulfur clusters. These are iron sulfur clusters. They are also known as FeS clusters. And the second type of is called as cytochromes. Okay, so in your exam the question may be like that, what are the electron transfer centers? These electron transfer centers are nothing but Fe sulfur, FeS, that is iron sulfur clusters, and the second one is called as cytochromes. Okay, the third and last important role or function of the metalloprotein is in structural roles. So now what is the structural role? So we know that genes are transferred from one generation to another generation. Okay, and in this transformation, the metalloprotein are playing a very important role, and this role is known as structural role. Okay, so gene transfer, in this gene transfer, the zinc metal ions which are binded to DNA and RNA replicates. Okay, that is nucleic acids. Okay, nucleic acids, we know that deoxyribose nucleic acid DNA and ribose nucleic acids RNA. These are the two main nucleic acids that are responsible for the transformation of structural information from one generation to another generation, and hence in this zinc metal ions are playing very important role, and hence the metalloprotein containing zinc metal ions, they have a very basic and important role in this structural or gene transformation. Okay, and hence these called as zinc fingers. They are called as zinc fingers. Okay, such metalloproteins are known as zinc fingers, where the transformation of genetic information has been done from one generation to another generation, and hence the next newborn species are having same characteristics to that of the parent one. Okay, so this is all about the today's lecture, today's topic, that is introduction to bioinorganic chemistry and role of some metal ions in different life processes, as well as the role and function of metalloproteins. Okay, in next lecture we will see about the metalloenzymes. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.